Hello, today is the September 22nd, 2021. New York City, and then weather is cooled down a lot. And then yesterday was Korean Thanksgiving. And then weather is so nice, but today is some kind of very cloudy. And for me, it's kind of, I think I'm getting the arthritis, when the pressure is, showing the low. I feel the pain. Anyway, so today I tried not to get too much being, voice. Try to calm down and just to explain to, what I have to explain to you. So today is I'm gonna talk about the episode 9, black, white, yellow. I tried to put more color there. I found out they called some brown people, and also always I think Native American. Some reason I can see some red color, some kind of aura for them. But anyway, so today is the episode 9. So one more episode 10, and then they're gonna finish the all 10 episode. And then I start going to police station to giving them to the printout name card with my YouTube address. So we'll see, how they're gonna go. And then today, last time about the episode 8, I showed us some diffuser. And then I didn't show you exactly how it's working. So today, before I start the, black, white, yellow, I like to show the, some diffuser, how you're gonna use it. So this is the diffuser, I made it, and then I made a flag. You can pour the, water or essential oil. And then once you get it, you have to spread it, probably for around the, the street where the UN is there, United Nations, New York City, because I think the whole world has to know what's going on in the United States. United States politician is so not doing anything. So totally is corrupted. I don't think even government is pretty much well functional now. So I think the whole world has to see what's going on. So after it's rolled, so you have to spray. And then make it wet, and then you're gonna see each of them spreading. And then as you see, the thing is, we have to save the police. And then, this one is getting smudged. Revoke the verdict, and then get the refund. So don't press too much water, but you have to do this way. And also, if you don't want to use the water or essential oil, you can put the bean. This is the red bean, I put it in. So you can press the flag. Sometimes it has more weight though, so it's a little better with the bean. But don't put too much bean. I put too much bean. And also you can use the sand. This is the sand. So you can just poke it like this. So save the police, revoke the verdict, and get the refund. And then you can put it in the table, your working table or wherever you go. And then, we have to correct this matter. This is wrong. So we have to revoke the verdict, and then the police, they have to get get refund. So we have to get all the refund, the police. And then we have to bring this policeman innocent. Because he's innocent. Okay, so this I prepare it, and then we're gonna go back to the subject for today's subject about the black, white, yellow. Okay, so one more time, I want to focus with our catchphrase. True peace is born from understanding. Misunderstanding creates the chaos. Strange Dr. Easy. Okay, so it's very important thing what I'm saying today, because this is totally different from the 20th century. We have 21st century. The 20th century, which is 1900, and then 1800, and then that time they used to call the someone who judged the people based on their culture or based on their color, they call the racist. But 21st century, we cannot call anybody in the racist. That word is gone with the 20th century. You cannot use them in 21st century. Do you know why? Because we have DNA, 21st century. We have DNA. We don't know whose, their skin color doesn't mean their race anymore. Even though you have a skin color is the dark, like black, but who knows, you have all the white gene in there. Even the white people too. Your skin color is white, but inside your body, there's a lot of black gene will be there. Not only the black and white. How about the yellow? African Asian, and then African Italian. It's all kind of different thing. We have DNA, 21st century. Even the 30 years ago, when they doing it, O.J. Simpson case, most of jurors, they couldn't understand what is the DNA. And then DNA didn't hold up for the, this O.J. Simpson case. But 30 years later, nowadays, everybody knows what is the DNA. Even the elementary school kid, they know the DNA. So you cannot call anybody racist. If you judge someone based on their skin color, I made a new word, what kind of person it is. So I'd like to show you. Today, look at this. Here, I made a new word. COLORCIST, COLORCISM. If you judge someone based on their skin color, they are the colorcist, not the racist. And it's kind of a colorcism, and then it's not the racism. Today, I'm gonna talk about all the color. Forget about the race. And if you judge someone based on their, culture, it's not the racist again. I made a new word here, right here. CULTURECIST, CULTURECISM. That's the new word for the 21st century. Because we have, I made a big sign. Here, we have DNA. Isn't it so nice? We have DNA. So we cannot call anybody racist anymore. If someone judges someone based on their skin color, we have to start calling them colorcist. We have to start, pointing those things, colorcism. So this is I hope those Webster dictionary, they should put this word in their dictionary. This is the new word from the 21st century. COLORCIST, COLORCISM. culturecist, culturecism, because we have DNA. We don't know what race they are. Okay, so this point, I'd like to talk about the, one more thing about here. Let me put down this one for a second. Here. This is the Ancestry.com. I sent my DNA and my son's DNA to the Ancestry.com, I think a couple of years ago. I used to have the person, he always, he put his DNA in the Ancestry.com, and then he always checking up where was his ancestry was, It was a lot of fun, And when I sent my DNA and then my son's DNA, I was expecting something like, oh, maybe I have other gene, So that's why I came to this United States and living in this, New York City, 30 years. Maybe I have some gene about the other race. It was so exciting when I sent the, DNA to the Ancestry.com. But it turns out I'm 100% Asian, and then my son came out 100% Asian. Some kind of disappointed, but anyway, so it was very interesting what they're doing, the Ancestry.com, because we are all kind of, all over the world. The people migrate from here and there, and even the Genghis Khan, the Khan, he ruled, one time he invaded the whole Europe and everywhere. So we have those, blue spot when, a lot of people has a blue spot when they born in the baby. So my point is we have to stay away about what is the race thing anymore. Even the media, they shouldn't call anybody called the racist anymore, because there's no racist anymore. 21st century, we have a colorcist who judges someone based on their skin color. We have to call the colorcist. Okay, so next one, I want to talk about the, black color first. Before I start talking about the black color, I have to tell you about my story. When I grew up short time with my grandma. My grandma's whole life, she was under Japanese occupying period. She was from North Korea. She's born in North Korea, and she was in the North Korea. She came down when the Korean War time, she came down to the South. She was on all her life, 37 years, most of her life was under Japanese occupying period. And then whenever I was with her, all the stories she has giving me is how bad Japanese is. How much bad Japanese, how cruel they're Japanese, and what the Japanese did to the old grandma's generation. This on and on and on. I was maybe like 6, 7 years old, and then I was with her maybe 5, 6 years, most likely. And then it's always same story, so I just ignore her most of the time after the same story repeat. But I developed a hatred to the Japanese. And also we had all those drama, about how the Japanese did to the Korean people things. So of course from the school, we learn it. We learn it from the school and but most likely my grandma. My grandma said something, really, from her experience. I really get into it. And then I was like, oh, I want to kill the Japanese. If I see the Japanese, I'm going to, maybe punch their face. Some kind of hatred I grew up. But honestly, when I born too, and then I came to the New York City at my age about 23. Until then, those 23 years, I never seen the Japanese. I never talked to the Japanese. In my life, I never crossed the Japanese at all. But still, I have hatred. The first time I saw the Japanese woman, when I got in the New York City, I had an ESL class. And then in that class, there was a Japanese woman who came to the New York City to learn the, English. She was the first one I saw in the Japanese. It's kind of very odd experience, Where's all those hatred and what are you going to do with it? Something I never seen it. So, what's going on in this United States? It's very similar like that. My son getting 18 years old, and then other son getting 30 years old. My other son, he was so into it with this, he really think, Black Lives Matter thing, the young people, they into it. But one day, I asked him, okay, 30 years of your life, you born in the United States, and then you spend all the education, you got the, those very good college, and you get into the, military, whatever. Have you ever seen any case, just tell me, any case, somebody treat the black bad? Tell me. I asked him, in your experience from the school and everywhere in all over your 30 years, have you ever seen real life, not in the TV, not in the show, not in the news, in your life? Look at it. Have you ever treat anybody, the black people you treat bad, or anybody treat the bad to the black people you have ever seen? He didn't say a word. He tried to collect the memory because he couldn't pull out any memory about anything happened, that kind of thing happened in his life. So whatever happened is only the TV, and then some of the 1 of the million case. But those 1 of the million case is not even in here, everywhere. Don't you think Korean people has a criminal? We do. How about the Italian, the mob, Irish, those organized crime? Everybody has their things. But something happened. Why you have to use the black people? I don't want to jump to the black people right away, but I have the reason to end up this way. When I came to the New York City 30 years ago, I was very, very good feeling with the black people. Okay, black people, they got treated so bad, they became the slave. I feel sorry. Even I saw the, drama about the very famous drama, The Root, R-O-O-T. Oh, that was so terrible when I look at that film, the drama in Korea. So I have, personally, I'm more close to the black people than the white people. Still I am, because I don't know, some reason is white people they're too much paranoid and obsessed with organizing too much. But that's them, and then some reason I'm not compatible with that kind of, things. I cannot clean the one place over and over and over again. And then I cannot go like jump free and then that's too much. Usually white people, they go too far. They're doing too much organized. They thinking, they analyze too much. It's like they peeling off the, onions, all the layer, and then there's no onions. Like that. Some reason I like the black people more. I'm sorry, I'm colorcist. You cannot call me the racist because that's insulting me. I know the DNA, If I judge someone based on the skin color, you have to call me colorcist. But anyway, the colorcist looks dumb. So I like to, this one is very delicate to talk to about it. Because it looks like, I'm telling something bad thing to the, black, but it's not. I try to help the black people. That's why I'm doing it. And then it's very hard because I'm not saying really friendly about the black people, sounds like, but it's for them. I have a totally different aspect about what's going on here now. So I'm gonna start, step by step. Just, I don't know how I can put it on, but the first, I start questioning about those slave story thing. They put too much about they got chained and they sold to the United States. I used to buy it 30 years ago when I came here. But after 30 years of the New York City life, I was really shocked because my 30 years of the New York City life, I never seen any of those things in my life. I worked at so many hospitals and then so many, all the borough, New York City, and then 30 years nursing, and I did so many other things. I never seen one case about anybody treat the black people bad. I saw that some black people try to take advantage about their, the situation, but I never seen anybody treat them bad. Me, myself, I never treat the, black people bad either. So, first thing about the slave story doesn't hold, because this time, back then, I never really care about it. Okay, they came to, sold by the people, and they go through those slave, very horrible, rape and killing, okay, they are supposed to be some protected. But after Black Lives Matter, I look back. Oh, okay, so what is really going on here? And then when I look back, I found very strange things, because I brought the world map. Can you make it zoom a little bit? So if you look at it in the map, it's not the round. So what I have to say is, all right, first thing first, let me talk about the slave thing. So United States, they got the slave around, the slave from the Africa, or they said the South America. I'm not the, like a PhD doctor about the anthropology thing. It's just simple common sense. I'm getting it. And then sometimes those, anthropology, PhD doctor, they analyze too much, they research too much, they totally ignore the common sense. So I just telling the common sense. If you look at this part, Russia, Asia, China, we have a lot of country, even the Egypt, and then everywhere. In 200 years ago, everybody has a slave. Almost everybody. I think 200 years, 1,000 years, We had a slave. Everybody had it. Who doesn't? Not many countries didn't have the slave at that time. And then I'm telling you, previous episode, my country, the Korea, we have 4,534 years of the history. 4,534 years of the history. United States, only 250, not even 300. And then my country has a slave 600 years. 600 years we had a slave, and then we had very similar system in the India, caste system. We had it because those, Buddhist thing, the culture come together. One of the country when they fell, they brought up the, same kind of very similar, system. So we have slave 600 years. So now I'm looking at my country's slave story. Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible. So when you compare to my country has out of slave only 100 years. Only 100 years. United States slave, they already declared the Civil War. They are free. The black people was free already, legally. So they are much older, free slave, years than our country. So how many years they have slave? They have slave maybe 50 years. I think it's much less than the officially. And then after that, someone is claiming, after the freedom, we still have some slave. I don't know about that one, but I cannot count it because they already declared the, black people is free 200 years ago. And then my country, we are free only 100 years. But we are all out of it. And I was talking one of these doctors, and then he's a Greek. And he told me, the Greek has the slave 400 years. 400 years of the slave they have. And then I cannot research everything because I'm not I'm not supposed to be research this one. There's the doctors and then college, Ivy League college genius, they know better. So I'm telling you, everybody had a slave in those era. And then whatever the United States or America slave was very short. And then when I talking this one to one of my, colleague nurse, she's white, but she was very into the, Black Lives Matter. She told me, okay, so how about your slave, your country's slave got raped and killed? So I told her, of course, the rape and kill is such a basic for the slave. Such a basic with the slave. And then she said, maybe you guys don't have this, different color, You guys have the same color. That's why, it's only 100 and then slave is gone, right? And nobody really care about the, who is slave or was not. My country is totally out of it. But United States, they still holding those slave story. And then she told me, maybe you people has the same color. But this is different thing. We have a different color. It's so much prominent. I don't think so. Do you know why? Because look at the India. India, they have all the same color, but they still have the slave. Actually, they have, under the slave label, some they call the untouchable. They cannot even touch anything either. They're still going on. Even though I think by law, I don't think they allow to the caste system things, but even the British people was there. How many years? I don't know. They tried to make it even out, but they failed. And then they still have a caste system. And then even the Mahatma Gandhi, he was the totally failed to break out the caste system. And they have all the same color, same skin color, and they're still going on. And also, if you look at Europe, they don't have the same thing like the United States. How about the Canada? And then South America. They all kind of totally gone with those, whatever what the United States is doing it. It doesn't stay still. It doesn't stay. It cannot stick with those, Black Lives Matter thing. That thing is hurt the most is the Black life in the history. The Black people, you have to think really wisely. Somebody using you. You know what happened is, Black Lives Matter came when? Last year? And then what happened? It turned to the protest, and then the riot, and then what happened? The people doesn't agree with the Black Lives Matter because Black Lives Matter turned to only Black Lives Matter. Why? Because the people see it that way. Black Lives Matter turned to the only Black Lives Matter. And then people start seeing something is not right. So what happened? All Lives Matter came out. Very important. Even some of the Black people, they brought up all Lives Matter. And then there was some, a movement about the All Lives Matter. What happened to the All Lives Matter? That's a very important thing is the reason All Lives Matter meaning is Black Lives Matter turned to the only Black Lives Matter. That's why All Lives Matter came out. And then what happened? All Lives Matter, they vanished, and then only Black Lives Matter left. Only Black Lives Matter left. That's all politics. I try not to tell about the politics over this Save the Policeman. I don't know how it's going to work for him. Maybe it's going to help. I tried to help him, but it turned to the, against, not helping him. But without the politics, I cannot tell about this incident. So first thing about the slave story, doesn't holding it. I couldn't believe it. And then after this Black Lives Matter riot, and protest was okay, but after I see the riot, I'm looking at the LA riot back. And I have a totally different aspect about the LA riot either. LA riot wasn't for the Black people either. I was always curious about, when I came to the New York City 30 years ago, I asked the Black people, hey, you guys, if you have an issue with the white people, why you don't destroy the white people's store? Why you destroy all the Korean store in the LA? I don't understand. So one of Black people told me, yeah, because, you guys, you Korean people came to, our community and then make a business, and then you guys didn't respect us. You guys totally ignore us, and then one of the store owners said N-word to this, customer. So when I heard that story, I apologized to him, the person who told me that story. I told him, I'm very sorry, I'm Korean, I wasn't there, but we shouldn't do that. I apologized to him, and I feel really sorry back then, 30 years ago. And then I living in the New York City, and then I never seen anything. And then one thing it was bothering when I came in here, I have to put the other story in the other time, but my point is about this LA riot. After 10 years later, since I came to the New York City, I mean it was around 20 years ago. And then accidentally, I met the person who was in the, store owner in the LA riot, the Korean person. And then I heard a totally different story. And then the store owner told me, most of Korean immigrants, they start working so hard. I know most Korean immigrant or the Asian immigrant, we're working so hard. They have to wake up 4 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning, go to the store and prepare the stuff, buying the stuff, arrange the stuff. It's working so hard. And also they serving this community. This community needs a store. Who's going to own the store? If they don't own the store, somebody has to do it. So they're working so hard every day. That's their life for the immigrant. But there was the problem with the store because the black people, they keep coming to the store to steal. They're stealing so much every day. Even there's some developing about the job, the watcher. They used to hire the kid or teenager to standing at the store just to watch for the thief who's stealing. All time they don't have video camera, so they have these people standing at the door and then watching who's stealing. That was the job, to watching the steal. That much stealing it was going on. So who's gonna like it? Somebody steal your stuff. You're working so hard. So one day the store owner was in the shop, and then he saw someone stealing the stuff from the store. He was watching the thief, and then this thief doesn't care the store owner watching or not. He just smiling and put the stuff in the stealing. That's the moment this store owner flipped. He knew he shouldn't say the N-word, but he couldn't hold it. So he said N-word. And that was it. All breaking up, and then all the stores destroyed and killing, rape everywhere. That was the kind of beginning. So in 20 years ago, when I heard that story, oh, that's how it happened. Oh, so it wasn't like really Korean people's fault. It's not Korean people's fault. We didn't respect anything, things, it's nothing to do with the respect. It was the thief. But why those thief and say N-word turn to the riot? I don't think so. I saw this time Black Lives Matter riot, what's going on with all the politics. When I look back, I see the same political movement. They made a LA riot. And then all the people has only fragment of the info, something they don't want to connect the dots. So if I ask the people who's 60 or 70, they have all different kind of memory about the LA riot. And then everybody say, oh, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it because they think it's sensitive of talking the color thing. But me, some of my known person, they are saying, don't say anything about the black people. You're gonna jeopardize your life or whatever. But I believe the black people. The black people is very intelligent. They know what's going on. A lot of black people, they know what's going on. They still don't say a word, but I believe into the black people. I don't think black people were gonna agitate it because I say these things. So that's why I'm doing it. And then I'm gonna take the rest for a second. I'll be back.